You know, as I get older and, well, yeah, and sometimes hairier, I begin to wonder, am I a bear? Well, I don't know, but our next guest will know. Desmond Miller, president of the Bears of San Francisco. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
Am I a bear?
It depends. You know, it depends on what you identify. You know, as a bear, we try to be, you know, as inclusive and as open as possible. So we let people define their own identity as far as bears. You know, so yes, if you want to be a bear and you consider yourself a bear, then by all means.
And I can be a part-time bear. I mean, I can be bearish sometimes.
That's
and
true.
Cubbish sometimes. You know, my husband Alfredo says that bear is the best marketing campaign ever invented in the history of the world. He says that he thinks that bears were invented because one day a Twinkie turned 40 and looked in the mirror and said, oh my God, I'm a little heavier and I don't care. And I think I'm going to grow a beard, and I'm going to stop waxing my chest. Yeah. And he invented bears.
That's pretty much kind of on the nose. No, originally, especially with the Bears of San Francisco, where we know who the social group that I represent. I mean, it was founded in the idea that, you know, we wanted to be inclusive. We wanted a place for people that, you know, weren't you know, Castro clones or you know, big muscly type of people. Just regular, you know, down to earth guys wanted to meet. You know, and so that's kind of how we started. A lot of these guys were online, you know, on the BBSs, you know, the
things that before Facebook. Oh
exactly.
My God, I'm old enough to remember BBSs too. Okay.
Exactly. So a lot of these people were meeting, you know, online, and they wanted to, you know, come out and meet folks, and so they started doing these things called bear runs, and then there was a really, you know, big one in San Francisco, and then from that bear run started the Bears of San Francisco,
right,
as a social group.
Yeah. Now, seriously, all kidding aside, because I think one of the wonderful things about the LGBT community is I stopped calling it a community. I say communities.
Yes.
Because, you know, we are the world.
Yeah.
When did the term bear really take off? I mean, who invented it? Was the Bears of San Francisco the first one?
No, not by any means. I mean, there's been various different publications depicting it as a subculture of the much larger gay community. So it's just like you have drag queens and you have leather people. You know, they kind of grew out of this already diverse community that already existed. So no, that was just a way that people could identify themselves, you know, and that's a community that pretty much labeled itself, which was great. And then again, keeping in this inclusiveness, we wanted to be as open and inviting for people as possible.
Right. I mean, now there's a bear flag, bear weekend. I mean, we have a place up in Guerneville, and boy, bear weekend is when the season starts.
Yes. Lazy Bear is a fantastic place to go. And again, another thing that gets overshadowed is a lot of these social clubs. They raise a lot of money, you know, for HIV and for various different causes and awareness. Our organization has raised just over $500,000 since 1994, you know, for various different, you know, AIDS causes, and every year we try to give money back to Bay Area nonprofits. We have three. Every year we choose three, you know, and the three that we chose this year was My Tree, which is local.
Which is the hospice for people living with AIDS, HIV.
Exactly. We chose Alliance Health Project, and then we chose another one that is not in San Francisco. It's Sonoma County, called Face to Face. So and that is our goal. You know, even though we celebrate brotherhood, bear brotherhood, and trying and really wanting to have these social events to get people out of their houses. We do it for a cause, and that's to raise money for these beneficiaries.
Right. When did you start identifying as a bear? And was it at the same point you came out?
No. I started.
You're from Fresno.
Correct. I'm from Fresno originally, and I was a member of the Golden State Bears there. And I knew from a very young age, you know, that I liked, you know, big hairy guys, and I didn't know what that meant, you know. And it wasn't until I started, you know, coming out and really started to see what other facets of this, you know, budgeting community that I was belonging to or coming into contact with was showing me. And it wasn't until, you know, I met other bears that I realized this is what it is.
Well, now, so tell me, what is the definition of a bear? I've heard that it has to be older, it has to be hairy, it has to be heavier, but that's not necessarily true.
No.
You're saying that it's self-identified.
It is. It really is. I mean, because I mean, I consider myself a cub more than anything because I like older guys. But there are older guys, you know, who are, you know, long beards, white hair, and they consider themselves cubs too. So again, it's all how you identify and what you feel comfortable with.
Right.
And no one in this community is going to challenge that because we want you to express that. We want you to be that person.
Right. Now, the Bears of San Francisco was founded, you said, in 1994.
Yes.
So you're coming up on your 20th
anniversary. Yes.
And so what are the plans for a big celebration, celebrating 20 years of bearhood? I mean, is that what you would call it?
Bear brotherhood. You know, we call it the three Fs. You know, fun, fur, and frolicking.
So fur is definitely part of it. I mean, hair is part of it.
Yeah, a lot of people like their beard. You know, I have a little scruffy beard as much as I can grow. And yeah, but we have a lot of folks who just rock the mustache or they're completely clean shaven. People have hair on their backs or not.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, you know, within the gay community for a long time, I mean, I remember coming out when I was in my teens, and there was an image of what it meant to be gay. And frankly, it was pretty white, and it was young, and it was buff, and it was hairless. I mean, that's hard for anyone dealing with, you know, I hear women talk about, I'll never look like a Victoria's Secret model. And I knew I was never going to look like Leo Ford, that famous porn star from the 1970s. Is there a psychological part of being a bear saying, you know, I am accepting who I am, and I'm admitting that this is what I like, and it's not this stereotype?
Yes. You know, I really feel that a lot of the times, you know, bear as it originally is, from my point of view, of course, I always speak from my own point of view. It came from just that, you know, this acceptance of I'm not going to be that muscly, you know, leather clad, you know, or even denim and jeans. Again, I'm fairly young, you know, so a lot of stuff that I understand, I've read and have been told to me and passed down, you know, from older, you know, bears, but they didn't identify, you know, with that and with that kind of community. So so when they came out of the basements and they came out of their homes, you know, away from the computers and started meeting people.
Out of hibernation.
Basically out of hibernation, and realized that this is, you know, who we are and this is who we want to be. So yeah, it really is about acceptance.
Right. In our last few moments, tell me some of the things you got coming up to celebrate 20 years.
Well, one thing that we're definitely going to do is during the Bear Weekend 2.0 is when we have our check distribution. So we'll be doing that in February, and that's to give the money out to the beneficiaries for 2013.
So it's not just fun, fur, and frolic; it's also helping people out.
It definitely is.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Out of the Closet Bear, Desmond Miller. I'm David Perry, maybe a bear wannabe. You've been watching 10%. We'll see you next week.